For the young Brando, it was a long way from Illinois.
They had one of the most important cultural salons in New York in the mid-40s. Whether it was Aaron Copland, whether it was Leonard Bernstein. And here we have this kid adopted by Stella, who is connected with much of the major talent in the theater world, in the music world, and the literary world of New York at the time.
It was through Stella Adler's circle that Brando met Elia Kazan and was ultimately cast in Streetcar. Adler and her group exposed the 21-year-old Brando not only to a new cultural world, but also a political one. As World War II ended, they made him aware of the persecution of millions of Jews.
He probably had never met a Jewish person before. I'm sure he hadn't. And he became deeply steeped in this life. He didn't wear a tallis, and he didn't grow a beard, but he became deeply, deeply aware of what these people were.
Stella's brother Luther directed Brando in one of his first plays, A Flag is Born, which was designed to raise funds for a group of militant Jews fighting to establish the state of Israel after the Holocaust.
They, in fact, did take the proceeds from this play, and they bought a boat which was used to smuggle people and arms from Cyprus to Israel. He became an honorary savior of the Jewish people. This set the pattern for years to come. He later became an honorary savior of the American Indians, the American blacks, the Black Panthers.
From the Adlers, Brando gained a sense of social responsibility and a belief that his work could make a difference. Early on, he had a chance to shake American society in the 1953 film, The Wild One.
The Wild One really established him as an icon, as a rebel, as somebody that the entire generation was looking up to.
What do you want me to do, send you some flowers?
It's really the epitome of the pure Brando, the rebel in the motorcycle outfit with the black leather jacket.
Brando plays Johnny, a bad boy biker gang leader who invades a quiet California town.
There was a real kind of conflict between the generations during that time, between the young people and conservative men and women who were grown up and wanted to preserve the status quo.
You better send somebody for the militia.
I think the film scared the hell out of a lot of people. Back then, this was terrifying.
Suddenly, across America, teenagers started wearing leather as the film struck a chord with the younger generation.
Everybody was troubled but inarticulate about what was troubling them. And here was this, symbol of everything that we sort of thought about ourselves.
The violence of The Wild One offended many, and it was even banned in England. But despite the film's impact, Brando didn't think it went far enough.
MARLON, after the film came out, started making statements that the film was a failure because it really didn't address the psychological complexities and anguish of America's post-war teenagers.
Though far from a teenager himself, the 30-year-old Brando knew about emotional anguish. Suffering deep depressions, his personal struggles lent a complexity to his characters. In the 1954 film On the Waterfront, released just months after The Wild One, Brando plays a conflicted young dock worker who stands up to the mob, although it means betraying his friends. Once again, he teamed with Streetcar director Elia Kazan.
The thing with Brando was interesting was I'd make these directions, and about halfway through, he'd say to himself, "Oh, shit, I know that." And he'd walk away. And I'd say to myself, where's the bastard walking away to? Where's he going? But what it was something good. He'd heard enough, and it got him going. And the thing that he wanted from a director, from me, was to get him going, get the machine going. And once the machine was going, he didn't need a hell of a lot more.
Come on, I better get you home. There's too many guys around here with only one thing in their mind. Am I going to see you again?
What for? I really don't know.
Come on.
This sweet, tormented, angry, messed up kid, this coming to consciousness, really superbly done.
Just as Brando's character, Terry Molloy, struggled on-screen, off-screen, Brando was actively seeking answers to his own unhappiness. He visited his therapist regularly and had it written into his contract that he could leave the set of Waterfront early every day.
He had a limousine provided by the studio, which would whisk him across the river for his 5 o'clock appointment.
He was deeply involved in his analysis. I think he was trying to understand himself, understand why he suffered from such deep depressions and why he was angry so much.
As early as Streetcar, Brando encouraged those around him to seek help.
He damn near saved my life. I was going through a crazy period psychologically at the time during the show. Marlon noticed it. He came to my dressing room one night and started talking to me about his problems, the fact that he was going to a psychiatrist, and it really helps a lot. And I think you ought to go see someone. He was out to help, and he bloody well did. Bless his heart.
In his early films, Brando was able to channel his pain into his acting with striking results.
You want me my philosophy of life? Do it to him before he does it to you.
There can be people who experience a lot of pain, but they don't know how to transfer it. Whatever pain he had fueled him when he needed it. I mean, either consciously or subconsciously.
And when we return,
Everything was a game, you know, a sexual game.